Bear in mind this is a budget watch, under £100 in the AliExpress sale. That look there is pretty much perfect for a retro diver, isn't it? Okay, well, I've worn this watch for a week now, so this is a perfect opportunity to update you if it's one you've had in mind or you've spotted on the AliExpress site. This Addiesdive, it's a good opportunity to update you as to how it has performed the first week or so. It is definitely a homage, almost a direct homage, of a 1966 Omega Seamaster 300. I'll throw up a couple of images I found courtesy of eBay. Thanks very much, eBay. You can see that the similarities are just completely there. The similarities are uncanny. For that watch is listed for £10,000. This is under £100. So from AliExpress, this Addiesdive Retro Diver. So if you wanted to experience the wrist presence for a fraction of the cost, this is definitely one way to do it. But what has the watch actually been like? Well, firstly, I don't know where to start really, so I'll just start with firstly. There are very few negatives with this watch, and none for the price. You can see that the case shape, it is brushed. It hugs the wrist perfectly. However, in my initial unboxing video from last week, the week before, I did say that the lug to lug was 45, and it is. So on a strap, very short lug to lug, it'll just wrap around the wrist. On the bracelet, you'll notice that we do have male end links to those end links on the bracelet do stick out. That's called male end link, and that adds a few more mil, so the effective lug to lug is actually 53. So slightly wider across the wrist than you may have initially thought. It is a 40mm case, beautifully sweet dimensions, and just over 13mm thick to the top of the domed crystal. That's a sapphire crystal. It's actually 13.7. Notice that blue ring. I don't have many watches that do that, and it's quite striking. I don't know if it's deliberate, but it's got a nice, unique look about it. The whole package is very retro. Polished bezel, possibly ceramic, I doubt it. The loom is BGW9, and it's very nicely done. It's very even with the hands, and the 12 o'clock bezel positioned slightly brighter. At a glance, you don't always notice the indices, but the hands and second hand, because of the stainless finish to them, they do stand out by themselves. See that? It's a nice touch. I have found that hasn't been an afterthought to me. The ability to just quickly glance down and see those shining, shimmering hands has been beneficial. Another wrist shot just to show the comfort. By the way, it is very comfortable. After some wear, you hardly notice it on. The AR coating on the crystal is excellent. I have found this to be far less reflective than the Baltic Aquasaph that I was quite disappointed with. Very unfortunately, by the way. Not so with this. So how about the mechanicals and the finishing? Well, I don't know if I'm just hitting lucky with AliExpress. This is a Seiko NH35 movement, absolutely fine. This keeps perfect time. It's another AliExpress watch that is within 2 to 3 seconds a day. Regulated at the factory, unbelievable. No problems whatsoever with the timekeeping. The power reserve, it's supposed to be just around 40 hours. I'm sure I left this for 2 days and it was still ticking. So, no complaints with the power reserve. Bezel action. Just listen to that, nice. But not much no back play actually. And a lovely, crisp. And lines up perfectly. The all brushed finish to the case and the bracelet, everything. Hard wearing, you won't notice the scratches. Nice to have that on a tool style watch. The lyre lugs are brushed as well, although the original Seamaster would have been polished, I believe. That look there. Bear in mind this is a budget watch, under £100 in the AliExpress sale. That look there is pretty much perfect for a retro dial, isn't it? Other brands compete at much higher price levels. The crown, you won't be able to hear that, but there isn't any graininess. It hacks, hand winds, standard Seiko sound there with a hand winding, and then it finds its catch and screws back in, lovely and smooth. No complaints at all there. Not too tight. Signed crown. Hopefully the camera will pick that up. You'll notice the signed clasp. It's a good size clasp, not too big or ridiculous or anything. But also look at the polished chamfer along the side. That's been beautifully done. And plenty of micro adjustment. I find with most of these AliExpress dive watches on the bracelets, you get plenty micro adjustment for comfort. That is pretty much all I have to say about this. Bear in mind, yet again, I've said it once, I'll say it again, we're talking about £100 watch, $120. If you want the look, want the vibe, I have nothing negative to say about this watch. But guess what? I may not be keeping it. Why? Well, that reason is because I simply can't stop wearing this, the Steel Dive SD1970. And if I find a watch that I can't stop wearing, I might as well start offloading some of the others. See you in the next video.